Hello, I'm Essie, the homeless woman. I'm not doing too good today. I was doing Uber Friday night and a drunk driver hit me from behind. So my minivan is not in good condition. It's he hit me really hard. At it was I was moving when he hit me from behind. And I wasn't going that fast because I stopped at a light. I was told. I don't even remember stopping at the light. I don't know whether I stopped or I kept through the light. But I know when he hit me, I wasn't going that fast. So maybe I did stop at the light. But he hit me from behind at a fast pace. And it's like the way it felt, it's like he hit me so hard. There were no braking whatsoever when he hit me from behind. I have no idea how fast he was going. Um, I had I had picked up two people, a man and a woman, and the man was a captain of a sheriff department, and he was in my Uber when it happened. So when the guy hit me, I'm guessing it was a guy. I don't know yet. Whether it's a male or female. But when the person hit me, they stayed on their gas because he slammed into me and we were forced back and I heard ski. So I think his front tires were moving because he was in a sedan and I was in a minivan, and the skeeting was him still pressing on the gas pedal, and we smelled burning rubber because his tires were burning because they were like skidding, and they were trying to push my heavy van, which I had let up off of the gas, and I wasn't on the brake. I wasn't on anything, the gas or the brake. So he was in a sedan. So he's pushing a heavy minivan, so his tires is skidding. And so we're being pushed, and he all of a sudden I could feel the pressure of him letting go. So I think he stepped on the brake once he realized what happened, what he did. And so when he stepped on the brake, my minivan was still moving some. I had got over and he swerved around and took off down the street fast. He was trying to get away. So my I don't know what you call it. It's like an OnStar. I heard a woman's voice started talking in my minivan, and at first I didn't know who was this woman. But she started talking and saying we detected an accident, a crash, and she started asking me, did I have an accident? I said, yeah. So the captain, he was like, they were all saying, get out, let's get out, because we thought maybe the van might go up in fire. And so I pulled over, opened the door, so we got out. The lady from the OnStar is still talking to me, so I had to talk to her outside of my van, but on the curve. And so the captain was on the phone with 911, and they caught him. I was so happy they caught him. So when I was going eastbound, so when he hit me, he kept going eastbound. So the deputies were coming westbound, and that's how they caught him. The captain knew it was a sedan. He didn't know what color it was, but I told him gray, and so he told them gray. And of course, it had a lot of damage to the front of his vehicle. I don't know how he was able to drive away. I really don't. And I didn't see much damage to his. Well, he was moving so fast. So, I mean, but I really didn't see that much damage, and it was dark. All I know is he didn't have on any lights. He didn't have on any headlights. So I know that I'm sure him hitting my minivan from behind had to take out his lights. So they caught him. I was so glad they caught him. I just do not understand in this day and age when there's Uber and Lyft everywhere, especially places where you drink a lot, because that's where I drive. Where I drive, there's wineries, there's clubs, there's casinos. So there's plenty of Uber and Lyft. I just don't understand why would you drink and drive when there's so much Uber and Lyft around. The people that I picked up took a Uber because they've been drinking that night. So they wanted the safe ride home. And imagine being hit by a drunk driver and you taking an Uber trying to be safe. And I know that the penalties for, I believe is the penalties for drinking and driving is not good. I mean, sometimes I think you have to pay thousands of dollars. You can get arrested. You have your license taken from you. You could put in jail. It's so many things. It's just amazing to me that people still drink and drive. And I see it all the time out here where I'm at. Even older people, like in their 50s, drinking and driving. And to be quite honest with you, I can kind of see people in their 50s still drinking and driving because they probably been doing it all their life, And when they were young, there were no Uber and Lyft. There was just taxis, and you know how much they charge, a lot. But there were no Uber and Lyft. So I don't see nobody drinking and driving, but if anybody, I can kind of see them doing it because they did it all their life. But yeah, I see older people drinking and driving all the time, especially men. And but younger people, like you were just born not that long ago. People in their 20s. You ain't been here long, There's been, I think Uber came out in 2011, I think. So yeah, around 2011, I think Lyft came out in 2012, something like that. So, like, you were kids when Uber and Lyft got started. So, basically, you grew up with Uber and Lyft. I don't understand how a young person growing up with Uber and Lyft still drinking and driving. I don't understand that one. And then going to try to run and get away. That is insane to me. So, I had never been in an accident of that magnitude. I almost got into a really bad accident in 2000 and I think it was 2020 or 2020. I would say around the end of 2020, the corona was really in effect when I almost got into a real bad accident in this car, because I hadn't even bought the minivan yet. So I was still in this car, and I was living in this car, and I was doing the delivery service. And I was on the freeway, and it was nighttime. I had just finished working. I was on my way back to the shopping center, and I'm going northbound on the freeway. But I look over to the shoulder, to like where what you call it, the last lane, like where you exit at. I look over to my right and I see headlights. And I'm like, why am I seeing headlights over here? Like, it was facing us. And I'm like, why am I seeing headlights? So I looked at the vehicle from afar. I could see the lights. All of a sudden, I see the vehicle turn. And it was dark. So I'm seeing it turn slowly, and I'm like, But your head just can't grab someone going across the freeway like this. You going on the freeway this way, and someone is coming across the freeway like this. Your head just cannot, imagine someone doing that. But that's exactly what was happening. And so when I saw the headlights, and he was moving in slow motion too. So maybe it was a DUI. Maybe he was going this way and maybe he had an accident and it turned him that way. But he was going in slow motion across the freeway. And so I'm coming this way, and all of a sudden, because he had a dark car, so all of a sudden I see him, and I slammed on my brakes really hard. I'm screaming, and I went around him. So this is his car coming this way, and I jerked back around like this. And so when I did that, the car next to me had a bang, hit him head on. And so when the car that was on the side of me hit him, that pushed him back this way. So I had to slam on the gas to keep him from coming back around and hitting me. I was like, oh my goodness. I'm 49 years old, and my worst accident just happened Friday night, 2 nights ago, and almost had a really bad accident in 2020. And I honestly believe it's from being around all these wineries and casinos and clubs and restaurants that serving drinks and stuff. And these people, I can't blame it on the businesses. I'm blaming it on the people that's drinking and not being responsible for their actions. Like, I just don't understand. So after the accident happened Friday night, I was nauseous. I was dizzy. My stomach was hurting. I felt like I wanted to throw up. One of the lady passenger in my van was saying she had a splitting headache, and so the ambulance came, checked our vitals, and I called my AAA tow service to tow my van back to the shopping center. But the sheriff deputy was like, AAA takes a long time. So the captain, because the AAA asked me, was I blocking the traffic? I said no. And the captain said, yes, you are. They'll come faster. So I told her, yes, I was blocking the traffic, which actually I was, because I was in the bike lane, and that was it. There was no other shoulder but the bike lane. So my van was blocking traffic. It was blocking one lane. So the AAA lady said tow truck would be here in like 20 to 30 minutes. But the deputy called the tow service anyway, and I didn't want their company to take my minivan, because I watched a video, and I'm telling you, I watch a lot of YouTube. I used to be watching, doing a lot of Facebook and stuff. I used to learn so much from scrolling through Facebook. I learned a lot of history things that I should have learned in school, but that's watered down, and they take all the black history out of out of the United States history, when the United States is basically founded on black people. Because I did not come from Africa. So-called African Americans, so-called black Americans did not come from Africa. We did not. We is indigenous to this land. And so that's something I should have learned in school. But no, that was taken out. They made us think that our history started at slavery, which found out that's a lie too. So I learned a lot of things scrolling through Facebook. I learned the true race of Abraham Lincoln, because they lied about that. So when I started watching YouTube, I have learned so much on YouTube. So much. So I learned that when you have a car accident, it is best not to let them tow your car, impound your car. Because sometimes they be listening to the monitors, and they can hear when there's accidents due to emergency calls and stuff. And the tow trucks will show up without even the police calling them. And they will hook up your car and they will impound your car, and then it costs all this money to get it out. Now they say that the insurance company will pay for to get your car out of tow, but I just saw a documentary where some horrible cases where, from what I saw, it looked like these tow companies could be like mobsters, gangsters, where they will hold your car hostage, and they charging all these fees every day for your car to sit up in the tow. And if you have an accident, insurance company supposed to get it out, but if the person has to pay, just imagine how much, thousands. I remember one guy, his car cost thousands to get it out of tow, and the insurance company didn't want to pay all that money, and the tow truck was like, well, you're not getting it. And the insurance company wanted to work out something with him, but they would not work out nothing. So that insurance company had to pay all that money. I want to say it was like 15,000. It was a lot. So the insurance company had to pay for the guy to get his car. So when I saw that documentary, I was like, oh hell no, I am not letting them impound any of my cars when I have a accident. Now, if my van had been leaking gasoline and leaking fluids and stuff, then I would have to let them impound it. But because it wasn't leaking any fluids, and it wasn't like totally like just all messed up like that. It's pretty bad, but it's not to the condition where, pieces are everywhere, and the body of the van is totally gone. It's not like that. So I'm like, I want AAA to tow my vehicle. So what happened was the tow truck that the sheriff deputy called got there a few minutes earlier than the AAA tow truck. So, and then he's going to come with that type of tow truck that only puts your front wheels, only tow your car by the front wheels. And the back, it couldn't be driven from the back because he hit me from the back. And the body of the back was touching the tire. So I'm like, how is he going to tow my van with that? So he come to me and so asking me, I said, I really don't want my car impounded, because he said impound. I said, I really don't want my van impounded. And he said, well, the insurance will, what did he say? The insurance will pay for it. No, I told him, I said, I heard horrible stories about y'all charging all this money. And he said, well, the insurance will pay for you to get it out of pound. And then he said, well, I could tow it to your home, but you just have to pay out of pocket, and insurance can reimburse you. It might take a while. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to pay out of pocket. I have tow service. As a matter of fact, they just took it out of my account. $183 AAA took out of my account for me and my mother. So I'm like, I don't want to pay no extra money. So I would say 2 to 3 minutes after that, here come AAA. I was so happy. I was so happy. So and plus I didn't want them to know that I was in my car and that I'm in a shopping center. You know what I'm saying? So when I saw the AAA man, it was a black man. It's really an Indian man, because we are Indian. So when I saw him, I was really happy, because I'm like, oh good, I can tell him, I can change the address, tell him to bring it to the shopping center. And so that's exactly what I did. So he came with a flatbed truck, which what he should have came with. And he drove my minivan on the truck. And I told him I wanted to change the address. And so he's like, okay. And he said, oh, it's not far from the other place. So he was like, that's fine. And so I told him I was living in my car, and you know, and he didn't even flinch. He was like, I live in a travel trailer, and He was telling me how much he paid for his travel trailer and how much his space is, and I was like, I've been thinking about doing that too because rent is ridiculous. Where I'm at, a 1 bedroom apartment is $2,000. Like, and I have lived in apartments ever since I left my parents' home. I've been in apartment buildings. I'm telling you, I have had more peace in my car than I did when I was living in an apartment. There's always something in an apartment building. It's either um, problems with parking, or your next door person next door to you is playing music really loud, or they got loud surround sounds on their TV, like what happened with me, or the people above you got kids and they bumping and stumping all night, which is what happened to me. It was crazy. It's insane living in apartment buildings, and I never want to live in an apartment ever again. I would rather give me a travel trailer and live in that than live in an apartment. $2,000 and you don't have no peace of mind? That's crazy. So I don't want this video to be too long because I don't want it to cut off on me, which it might do soon. I always try to keep my videos around 20 some minutes because it seems to cut off around like 26. But yeah, so I'm a little stressed out, but I got a lot. I got to make some calls. It was a DUI, so I did call today and find out through the sheriff department that it was a DUI. But I need to call and leave a message so the officer can call me back and let me know his insurance information. I want to know what age he is. I want to know, was he arrested? I want to file a lawsuit on him for drinking and driving because I'm under a lot of emotional distress. You know, I'll kind of feel like I'm depressed, like I want to go through depression again. So um, that's why you see me now in daylight with my window coverings down, because now I have to be in this car and I have to drive around in this car, but I can't go too far in this car because if I drive it too long, it starts to overheat. The needle goes up to the hot. So I'm going to have to have it towed to Goodyear. They say it might be a hose or it might be a thermostat, something small. I'm hoping it's something small. And then I'm going to have to get a rent-a-car so I can continue to do Uber. I'm not going to be scared to do Uber because of this happening. I did Uber for 2.5 years before I had an accident. So, but I'm going to let you guys go. I know I talked a lot. So yeah, I'm just sitting here. I still got I got to clean my van out. I cleaned my van out, but now I have to take off the seat covers and I got to take out the floor mats that I bought, because they're going to come in. Uber's insurance is going to come and pick it up tomorrow. So I got to go to Target, which is and get some garbage bags. So I will talk to you guys later. Oh, all right. Bye.